The 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, or FORCAC, has adopted a declaration on jointly building an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era and an action plan for the next 3 years. As the world is facing increasing uncertainty, this achievement is a boost to the development of China-Africa ties, the cooperation among the Global South, and global efforts to keep the realization of the UN Sustainable Development Goals 2030 on track. Over the past 24 years, China-Africa cooperation has been building consensus on equal footing and mutually beneficial spirit. It puts the consensus into action with a feasible and practical plan and seeking new ground of cooperation based on achieved results. This time is no exception. The Beijing Declaration has elevated the strategic positioning of China-Africa ties to a new high. The ensuing action plan has laid out details on how the two sides will turn leaders' consensus into reality in the next 3 years. Leading the action plan is the 10 partnership initiatives to advance modernization for China and Africa. They cover the areas of mutual learning between civilizations, trade prosperity, industrial chain cooperation, connectivity, development cooperation, healthcare, rural revitalization and people's well-being, people-to-people exchanges, green development, and common security.
实现现代化是世界各国不可剥夺的权利。
In his keynote speech at the opening ceremony of the FORCAC Summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping emphasized that no one and no country should be left behind on the path to modernization. He called it an inalienable right of all countries. But the Western approach to it has inflicted immense sufferings on developing countries. China and African countries have been endeavoring to redress the historical injustices of the modernization process. China and Africa have a combined population of 2.8 billion. Joint pursuit of modernization could unleash huge potential to improve people's livelihoods. Take trade for an example. Last year, bilateral trade volume reached a historic high of $282 billion. Africa's exports to China, especially in the agricultural sector, have seen significant growth. Taking nuts, for example, Africa's exports to China saw a 130% hike. Exports of vegetables saw 32%, flowers 14%, and fruits 7%. China and Africa are both members of the Global South. As the UN SDG 2030 is at a critical juncture,
China's partnership.
UN Chief Antonio Guterres says China's partnership with the African continent is the main pillar of South-South cooperation, and joint efforts of the two sides based on the UN Charter can create a new momentum for African development.